I know Marie-Agnès already for a while because I think the first time I met her was on a fashion show, so I knew that she was interested in fashion, and she is also interested in my work. But then she was introduced by a friend of mine to my work when she was starting to start up this choreography, and she was referring to things I did in the past, which she really liked. And like that was in fact a starting point to come together and to talk together and to come up with ideas for the choreography. And in fact, the most inspiring for me was to hear her talking and to see also the proposition of the background, the decor for the play. And I was really imagining immediately things aside that kind of proposition. And that was really the starting point, and it was also the way that we get in contact. It was a very open way of working, rather surprising for me, because when I worked on previous costumes, there was always like a very clear briefing that was the spirit that they wanted to have. But now it was very open and very unpredictable a little bit, and also the way that I was starting to sketch was very free and very open-minded. And in fact, I was using my fantasy to bring what I saw and what I was hearing, to bring that in a kind of balance. And that's why I was proposing a kind of surreal garden next to the house and the more architectural elements. I think that the spirits of the costumes is very experimental, because Marie-Agnès also wanted to introduce a kind of restriction in the possibility of movement, and that was also when she was referring to walking sculptures I did in the past. I really kept on thinking in that direction. So it's a very surreal approach, and the dancers are almost becoming like almost creatures. So I try to change their identities. And I worked with very bright colors on one side, but also with pastel shades, and also a lot of flesh color. So it's like this mixture. And the technique is rather very typical. It's a very old-fashioned way of making volumes, like they did for underskirts. So it's really with boning and with crin. And then these surfaces are how do you say that? And the surfaces are covered with tulle flowers. So it's very typical way of working. She will really use the costumes when she's starting and create the piece, and also during the rehearsals they will wear it all the time. And I think then she will try to figure out what are the possibilities and what are the limitations also. So it's really going in two directions. I do propositions, and she will use that as a starting point to create the choreography.